Court. Court. The judge gave the defendant a sentence in court. The court was crowded with people. The court was held in a large public area.
Cover. Cover. The book had a hard cover to protect it. She covered her mouth when she yawned. The student covered the material in the chapter.
Covered. Covered. The snow covered the ground. The car was covered with a tarp. The table was covered with books.
Cream. Cream. She put some cream in her coffee. The ice cream cones were melting. He added cream to the soup.
Criminal. Criminal. The criminal was arrested for theft. The criminal was sentenced to prison. The criminal was brought to court.
Cruel. Cruel. The dictator was cruel to his people. The experiment was cruel to the animals. The punishment was cruel and unusual.
Cultural. Cultural. The cultural festival featured traditional dances. The cultural center was full of people. The cultural norms were different from the country next door.
Currency. Currency. The currency in this country is the euro. The currency was traded on the open market. The currency exchange rate changed daily.
Current. Current. The current president of the United States is Donald Trump. The current trend in fashion is for bright colors. The current temperature is 32 degrees Celsius.
Currently. Currently. Currently, the stock market is rising. Currently, the streets are full of people. Currently, I am studying for a test.
Curtain. Curtain. She hung a curtain in the window. The curtain was made of silk. He opened the curtain to let the light in.
Custom. Custom. The custom of the tribe was to paint their faces. The custom of the country was to bow when greeting someone. The custom of the region was to celebrate every holiday.
Cut. Cut. He cut the rope with a knife. She cut her hair for a new style. He cut the grass with a lawn mower.
Damage. Damage. The storm caused damage to the house. The accident caused damage to the car. The flood caused damage to the crops.
Deal. Deal. He made a deal with the other team. She got a good deal on the car. They made a deal to share the profits.
Decade. Decade. The last decade has seen a lot of changes. The decade of the 80s was an exciting time. The decade of the 90s saw the emergence of new technology.
Decorate. Decorate. She decorated the room with flowers. He decorated the cake with frosting. She decorated the walls with artwork.
Define. Define. The dictionary defined the word as happy. The definition of the word was joyful. The definition of the word was content.
Definite. Definite. The answer was definite. The decision was definite. The outcome was definite.
Definition. Definition. The definition of the word was excited. The definition of the word was enthusiastic. The definition of the word was animated.
Deliver. Deliver. The delivery truck delivered the packages. The mailman delivered the letters. The driver delivered the food.
Departure. Departure. The plane's departure was delayed. The train's departure was on time. The bus's departure was ahead of schedule.
Despite. Despite. Despite the rain, they went outside. Despite the cold, they stayed outside. Despite the wind, they continued their journey.
Destination. Destination. The destination of the train was the city. The destination of the plane was the airport. The destination of the boat was the harbor.
Determine. Determine. The test will determine if he is eligible. The results will determine if she can go. The measurement will determine if it is a success.
Determined. Determined. He was determined to succeed. She was determined to finish the project. He was determined to reach his goal.
Development. Development. The development of the project was slow. The development of the product was complicated. The development of the technique was successful.
Diagram. Diagram. He drew a diagram to explain the process. She showed the diagram to demonstrate the idea. The diagram showed the structure of the machine.
Diamond. Diamond. The diamond was sparkling in the light. The diamond was set in a necklace. The diamond was very expensive.
Difficulty. Difficulty. He had difficulty understanding the instructions. She had difficulty figuring out the problem. They had difficulty completing the task.
Directly. Directly. He spoke directly to the audience. She looked directly at the camera. He walked directly to the store.
Dirt. Dirt. The dirt covered the floor. The dirt was tracked in from outside. The dirt was easily visible on the carpet.
Disadvantage. Disadvantage. The disadvantage of the plan was the cost. The disadvantage of the product was the quality. The disadvantage of the system was the complexity.
Disappointed. Disappointed. He was disappointed with the results. She was disappointed with her grade. They were disappointed with their performance.
Disappointing. Disappointing. The results were disappointing. The outcome was disappointing. The performance was disappointing.
Discount. Discount. She got a discount on the shoes. He got a discount on the groceries. They got a discount on the tickets.
Dislike. Dislike. He disliked the food. She disliked the movie. They disliked the idea.
Documentary. Documentary. The documentary was about the history of the city. The documentary was shown on television. The documentary was filmed in the desert.
Donate. Donate. He donated his old clothes. She donated her toys. They donated their books.
Doubt. Doubt. I have no doubt about the decision. I have no doubt about the outcome. I have no doubt about the result.
Dressed. Dressed. She dressed for the party. He dressed for the interview. They dressed for the ceremony.
Drop. Drop. The raindrops fell from the sky. He dropped the glass on the floor. She dropped the pen on the desk.
Drum. Drum. The drummer was playing the drum. The drum was heard in the distance. The drum was part of the band.
Drunk. Drunk. He was drunk and couldn't drive. She was drunk and couldn't walk. They were drunk and couldn't remember.
Due. Due. The payment was due on the 1st of the month. The project was due on Friday. The report was due on Monday.
Dust. Dust. The dust covered the shelves. She wiped the dust off the table. He swept the dust off the floor.
Duty. Duty. It was his duty to protect the country. It was her duty to support the family. It was their duty to obey the rules.
Earthquake. Earthquake. The earthquake shook the city. The earthquake caused destruction. The earthquake was felt for miles.
Eastern. Eastern. The eastern side of the country was more populated. The eastern coast was the most visited. The eastern part of the city was the busiest.